What's going on, guys? Are you ready to rock and roll? Are you ready for some face melting fun? I hear Johnny Rocks is out there watching right now. So Johnny, this one's for you, from me, originally from you, for me. Here you go.
No Pants Friday, no Pants Friday, no pants, no pants, no Pants Friday.
That is the official No Pants Friday theme song.
Written and performed
by one Johnny Rocks, the one and only Johnny Rocks, who has performed on stage with many famous people.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the bands? I don't know, because I'm really bad at remembering that kind of stuff. Pretty much everybody.
Cher, Bay City Rollers.
What?
Those are the two probably most famous that I can think of.
Lots of like hair metal people and stuff like that.
Yeah, lots
too.
of hair metal people, because all the hair metal people come to Vegas to die. So this is
no. I'm talking like back in their heyday. He was.
Oh well, he was in his own heyday. Big band.
Well, of course.
Aryan Rage, which has a bit of a cult following, which was a very big.
And just a disclaimer,
almost made it big.
Yeah, just a disclaimer, the name, they were not a
white supremacist group, no.
They were like 18-year-olds who were bad at picking names, apparently.
I don't think it crossed their minds at the time.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Oh, and there's Lorna doing her, hey, beautiful people, beautiful people. But I'm sure that Dana will tell us some of the awesome names that he has performed with in the past. But he's done so. I love it when he does his
flashbacks.
His flashbacks on Instagram, and he shows like awesome pictures of him like back in the 80s with his amazing 80s hair.
Big mane, this big, crazy big hair mane. Yes.
Pretty much. Happy Friday, everybody. What's happening? Woo woo.
Hello.
No pants roll call. Who is not wearing pants and who is betraying the spirit of the day? That's what I want to know right now. I want to know right now who we need to throw out.
I have yoga pants on.
I want to know who I need to have. Dana and Lorna, and it looks like Allison. Who do we need to have them block and throw out permanently from this chat?
Yes, that's right. We're doing lunch next Friday. I totally forgot about that.
Thank
you for reminding me. We are, because Victoria Smith is coming to town. So we're doing lunch with Dana and Victoria and Dorothy and anybody else local that might want to come and hang out.
I don't know. Vicky's in charge of remembering these things for us.
I know. I'm the one that has to do the social organizing.
Yeah.
And then next Friday, we're going to see Halloween.
Yeah, I believe so. Like the new one, the new Halloween.
Yep. And downtown Julie Brown is in the house again
with pants on. So there's a good and a bad.
She's going to get thrown out.
Awesome, guys.
Unbuttoned and half falling off. Well, that kind of counts, Dorothy, I suppose.
I feel like an attempt was made, but there was a lot of failure in that. So that's okay. Better luck next time.
Christy Lindsay, first live show. Thanks for checking
in. Heather says total betrayal, but her patients aren't wearing any pants, so she wants to know if that counts.
Yeah, they're wearing those lovely hospital Johnnies, probably.
Yeah, pretty much. School friends and parents without pants dropping off kids at school. I hear you, Allison. All right. As long as at some point today you're able to get rid of the pants, then we'll allow it. Anyway, Teresa, T-Money in the house. What's up? Susan wants to know if you did you sell your Billy Bass? You didn't even put up Billy Bass yet, did you?
I think I just listed it this week. I just listed it the other day. Okay. So no, I haven't sold it yet. It's up. It went up like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Anyway, guys, hey, Flippin' Mama, she's checking in with her no pants.
No pants.
Yep, pretty cool. So it is No Pants Friday, which means it's Friday for one thing, and it means that like pretty much every other day of the week I'm not wearing pants. You're wearing leggings, so we've already established that that's allowed. Leggings are allowed, guys.
I'm I'm a girl with a big butt. I love my leggings. I love fall. I love winter. All about the leggings, tunics, big bulky sweaters. It's not quite for sweaters yet, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's more, the rules are no restrictive waistlines, but no restrictive waistline Friday just doesn't have the same ring to it. So if you want to wear your jeggings, your leggings.
Your jeggings? Please don't wear jeggings.
If they want to wear their jeggings, they can wear their jeggings, okay? This is a no judgment zone unless you are wearing pants, and then I will judge you, okay?
Johnny Rocks is in the house.
Oh, for
actually,
real?
On the Instagram, on the YouTubes.
Yeah. Awesome.
Susan said she saw a Billy Bass for $249. That's a little bit much. I have to be honest. I think I can get probably close to, between 60 and 100 for it around the holidays. But $249 is pushing it.
Yeah, a little bit.
Even if it were new in the box, and mine is new in the box. I actually have two that are new in the box. I have one that's the Christmas one and one that I just listed. It's the normal one. But yeah, that's a bit much.
Dorothy now has her pants off. She angrily kicked them across the room.
All right.
And you do get extra points if you're wearing cool socks. I saw that that Lorna is wearing some awesome Tootsie Roll socks. I have my raccoon socks on. I think my sister got these for me.
She did. Why are your socks in my face? They're nasty.
I'm clean. I just took a shower and these are clean socks. How dare you? How dare you? So rude. Anyway, guys, so yeah, No Pants Friday. It's our AMA. Ask me anything. Ask us anything. Q&A. You can ask us any questions. Obviously, we get a lot of questions about reselling. So if you have any questions about eBay, we know a little bit about Etsy now. Not a lot.
I had 3 Etsy sales in the last week.
What?
I am so excited. Almost $300 in 3 Etsy sales.
Oh, crazy, man. Yeah, I've had, when I first started doing this Friday show, I was like supposed to be doing like a weekly check-in with my Etsy. That hasn't really been happening, but I don't really want to have anything structured on this day anyway. But yeah, I've had like quite a few sales. I don't even know. This is just for today. I'm looking at my little thing. My last 7 days, guys, 3 Etsy sales, which, I mean, that's not a crazy amount.
Me too.
It's building up. It's building up, guys.
In the last 7 days. I'm pretty excited.
Almost $200 in the last 7 days. So I'm pretty stoked about that. If I can get up to I think my last 30 days, one of the sales might have dropped off, but my last 30 days, I'm at almost $800 for Etsy.
That's awesome.
Which is crazy. I'm excited for I want to hit 1,000 just on Etsy. But anyway.
Yeah, and I'm up at, I haven't looked at Etsy today, and I know Dana did some cross-posting for me last night, but I think I'm around 375 or 380 listings or so on Etsy. So I'm pretty excited about that. I really.
Did you say you're really excited about that? What happened there?
I don't know. Somebody goosed me.
Victoria 2.0.
She's hiding. She was in the background because you did a post that you were worried I wasn't going to make it home on time.
It was like 1:45.
I went to a late breakfast / early lunch with a friend of mine because we were out of town for her birthday last month, and she had a little birthday gathering and I wasn't able to go. So I wanted to take her out to breakfast, and this is the time that we were able to get together. So, when you get together with your friends, it's like a 2-hour breakfast because you're chit-chatting. And even then, we probably could have stayed longer, but I had to come back to do the show. I was like, I gotta go. I got stuff to do. I got YouTube people waiting on me.
Thrifty Chick wants to be schooled on Providence thrifts. Here's the thing, though. When she lived on the East Coast, when she lived in Rhode Island, she wasn't a thrifter.
I wasn't a thrifter. I went to auctions. I went specifically to auctions. I sold only antiques and collectibles. And I would go to auctions, and occasionally I would go to a Goodwill or a Salvation Army. There are a couple savers there. There's one in Warwick, Rhode Island. There's one in Pawtucket. There's one in Attleboro, I believe, which is right over the line. And the savers there leave a lot to be desired. Honestly, I'm not good with Rhode Island thrifts because that wasn't what I did when I lived there. I've only been thrifting for about 5.5 years. Now,
we did go, we went to a number of the Salvation Armies, which were super tiny, a little dumpy. But one thing we noticed is that you found quite a few pairs of shoes, women's shoes there.
Yeah,
that might have been
that was the Savers. That was the Savers.
Was it Savers?
Mm-hmm. It was an anomaly, actually. It was just, I think, because most of them were the same size. I think somebody had dropped off a big closet full of high-end shoes, and they just didn't know the names.
Yeah.
So Dana says I have 359 Etsy listings, and she's doing more right now.
I have 667.
The thing is that I because I cross post, I have to go in and delete, a dozen a week when they sell on eBay. So they're not growing quite as fast as.
If I sell one more thing, my active listings are going to be at 666, the number of the beast.
All right, weirdo.
Whatever. Heather wants to know if I've looked into Depop. It's supposed to be good for vintage items, like what I sell. I haven't. we've talked about this before. I kind of feel like, there's a bunch of different platforms out there, and I feel like you kind of just need to figure out which ones you want to focus on and then kind of commit to those. And obviously, like Poshmark, people are asking about Poshmark too. Somebody I want to know,
Heather had asked.
Shimsa.
Are you considering Poshmark more now since they have no returns? No.
Yeah. So who knows?
Maybe
that'll change in the future.
I'll never say never.
Yeah, but right now we're kind of like, we're putting all of our focus into obviously eBay, because that is, no matter what, I mean, that's the platform that we get the most traffic to. We're able to bring in like a full-time income.
eBay and Etsy. We're definitely putting some time and some effort into Etsy. I want to see how it goes for third quarter, and to see if fourth quarter, and see how it goes sales wise on Etsy, to see if it's worth continuing spending the money to cross post. Because obviously I pay Dana. She's not doing it just out of the kindness of her heart, although she's a very kind person. So I'm just getting there just to see, depending on the number of sales I have, if that's going to be worth doing. So far, it's pretty much, equal my amount of sales and the amount of money I spent, getting stuff cross posted, but I got to get the number up there. So,
yeah, I'm really curious too about
I just don't have the time. I guess if I wanted to hire a virtual assistant to do just Poshmark, I suppose I could do that. Dana has no interest in it. I have no interest in it. I'm not at the point where I want to pay someone to do that for me now.
Yeah. And we only have so many hours in the day. So like I said, it's like, you kind of want to pick whatever platforms like are calling to you, and then you need to commit to them. Like I hear people saying they've got 4 or 5 different platforms, and I'm sorry, but unless you have people that you are paying to work on that, and you have more man hours, you're really
you're limiting your success, in my opinion, because I think that if you're not devoting enough focus on one thing and you're spreading yourself too thin, then you are not maximizing your return on your time and your investment.
Yeah. Now, if you have somebody like a Dana or somebody else that is doing like all the cross posting, or you're doing Poshmark and they're cross posting and doing all of the promoting and sharing and stuff like that,
and you're making a ton of money on it,
that's fine. But don't be, if you're just a person by yourself and you're putting in like an hour here and an hour there.
And I know Poshmark is popular now. So I think, Posh may be worth it for some people, but the reality is that Etsy is doing very well as far as getting enough people on there. People know what Etsy is. They're doing great advertising. People understand what is on the platform and where to find it there. So you're getting the views there. And the same thing with eBay. eBay has been around long enough that eBay is far better and far greater reaching than any of the other sales platforms. And, they're not paying me to say that. It is what it is. So if Depop is very small, Grailed is really small. There are certain things that are just really small. And while there may be good things that she sell or that I sell that would be good and work on those platforms, finding the time to learn the platforms, take, cross post everything, and then, learn what to take down from what place when it sells. Yeah. Honestly, it's too much spreading yourself without enough return on the investment of time.
Hip flipping mama, Kelly. So they just gave us a super chat. Give us a kiss, guys. Well, I can give you a super chat song. Super chat, she's super chatty. There's your kiss. There you go. Look at that, huh? Whatever, that's what she asked for. She's the weirdo. Anyway, yeah, I mean, obviously, like Etsy, like I said, like my sales are starting to go now, but I have I have almost 700 on Etsy, and I have 1,800 on eBay. Let me tell you, with those numbers, the sales are not proportionate. Like I sell way more on eBay. So it just shows that those different platforms just perform differently. So again, I can't. I
have Etsy, Bonanza, and eBay, and the only reason I'm on Bonanza is because, again, I've been on it for like 10 years. I synced my store 10 years ago. I've probably been on it actually more than 10 years. Whenever they invented it, because it was an eBay person that invented Bonanza, I signed up then, and I've always been on. So Bonanza is, I don't pay to be on Bonanza. It's the free version, and I probably sell, I don't know, half a dozen things a month on there, and it's a no-brainer.
Rebecca wants to know, what exactly is a virtual assistant? I mean, that's just somebody, like, rather than like hiring somebody to come to, let's say, your house or your office, you're paying somebody online and they're doing the work, remotely. So they might be somewhere else in the US, they might be in another country. and maybe you're paying them to do whatever it is you want them to do. They could be doing your whole listing. Maybe you're sending them all your pictures and everything, and they're doing all of it. Or maybe you're just paying them to, if it's Poshmark, maybe you're just paying them to share your closet or however that works. But it's just somebody, like, you're not working with them in the same room. They're just
see, Corey, that is perfect. If you have a teenager or a tweenager, like Corey has a son, I think he's 9 or 10, 12, something. I don't know. He's youngish. I don't know. I'm bad.
When you get older, you get really bad. Like, everybody just looks like a little kid.
Right. And he's really cute little boy. But she's saying she might pay my son to do the sharing. She's thinking about it. I think that's a perfectly great idea because they work cheap. Kids work cheap. Kids work cheap. Have them do it an hour a day for you, and you pay them $5 a day. 10. Perfect. $5 a day. The kid would be in heaven.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Are you kidding me? They're already on the phone or online all the time anyway. All they do is watch YouTube. That's all kids do. So, yeah, pay them $5 a day. You kidding me? He'd be thrilled.
You kidding me?
A real person would not work for $5 a day, but I'm all about child slave labor.
Hey,
if I had little kids, I'd be all about it. I used to make my daughter do work for me all the time. All my charity work and stuff like that. She would stuff envelopes and all the time.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't even pay her.
I see Dorothy's thinking on that. She's got Sam, so she could put him to work too. I'm telling you, give him a way to earn some money. That's awesome. All right. Any other questions, guys? Again, this is No Pants Friday. Ask me anything. Ask us anything. So that can be business-related questions, personal questions. I feel like the last couple of weeks we've gotten pretty deep into some like personal stuff.
Yep.
And I actually,
it's our little therapy session.
It's our therapy session. I really like it. I appreciate it. Like, I feel like the more that we're able to share of ourselves.
Dorothy's like, Sam, I wish he's 11, can't tie his damn shoes. Dorothy, I love you. It's so funny.
Hey, it's Red Neckerson's Resales. Hooking us up with $1.27 chat. I'm going to give him a little, yeah!
Double-handed.
That's for you, Red Neckerson.
You're a weirdo. You are a weirdo.
I was trying to like hold back on my yell. I kind of like muted it. Like,
you did mute it a little.
And I tried to like direct it away from your ear holes.
It's usually right in my ear.
Laura wants to know if you've made any progress on your storage haul.
Nope. Just picked it up. Honestly, it's been a week. We literally just picked it up last Friday. So I have not yet. I've done a little bit of research on a couple of things.
It's a little off season.
Yeah, it's off season. So I'm not gonna like go crazy to get it listed right away, especially because some of the stuff is going to be, the bigger stuff is going to be local pickup.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll get it up there.
Yeah. Of course, we list stuff all around. We don't really do much stuff seasonally, but when you get a bunch of stuff like that and you got other stuff to focus on, it's not like you're, like, I got to get this listed right now.
Yeah. I mean, and I will get, nothing I have is older than 2 or 3 weeks unlisted. So I'll get to it. I've got some other stuff, but I haven't gotten a lot listed this week. I've been really busy. Honestly, my sales have been ridiculous this week, and
popping off.
I'm thrilled. Don't get me wrong. I'm absolutely thrilled, but I'm feeling like a little overwhelmed right now because it's just been I haven't gotten my shipping out yet today because I had plans this morning. So I got everything packaged, but I haven't gotten my labels on yet. So I'm probably going to have to drive to the post office because we're doing the show and my mail lady comes around 2 o'clock. So I think I'm going to miss her, but it is what it is.
Well, and Laura says, I think big stuff shouldn't count as death pile anyway. Well, I mean, I don't really think that like death pile should be the phrase for it until maybe you've had it for, let's say, a month. Once you've had something,
I think even more. I think a couple of months is doable. I think if you've had something for more than a couple of months, then it's encroaching into death pile territory.
Because it's like me right now. Because I didn't get as much sourcing done last week, I kind of messed myself up because now I don't have enough stuff to list. I went yesterday. We had so much stuff going on. We had dinner shipping. I'm trying to sell my car, so I had to meet up with somebody. Also, we were working on moving a bunch of stuff from our garage to our friend Derek's garage because we're going to put some storage stuff there to create more room for inventory at our place. So the day was just crazy. So I was able to do a little bit of sourcing, plus the sourcing wasn't great yesterday. So I found some stuff, but not a lot.
Right.
And so now I'm in the position where usually it's like just Thursday is enough for me for the whole next week. I don't have enough to list this next week. Yeah. And that kind of sucks. So it's like, And
I do. I mean, I did a little sourcing yesterday, but I still have a lot from last week. I just haven't gotten to yet. So.
Yeah. So I really haven't managed it well because I would rather have a couple of weeks of stuff worth so that when something does come up, if I can't source, I still have enough. It's not really good to be in a position where I'm like, oh crap, now I got to go spend a whole other day trying to source stuff up.
Leoman's waiting for my death pile to go vintage. There you go.
Good
Dorothy
call.
says I have rigor mortis piles then with this logic. Yeah, so we needed some extra storage space. We have a friend, our friend Derek, Big Fish, as we call him, when he comes into the chat. He and his wife live literally like right around the corner from us in the same cul-de-sac area. So they have a 3-car garage, and they have kindly offered to let us use a portion of one of their spots. So as some of you have heard before, I have a lot of Christmas decorations because I decorate a lot. So we moved all of our non-inventory stuff into their garage. So we really don't have to touch it once or twice a year. So it's not a big deal, but
it's just taking up a little corner. But what's nice is we have those big, I don't know if you watched any of our earlier videos where I was showing the rack that I put up. We have those big 4 by 8 foot ceiling racks. We have 2 of them. And we pretty much emptied those completely. They were full of bins, and it was nice that we could put everything up above. But now we've opened all of that up, and we also opened up a lot of top space, and we made it so that Vicky can get around behind her other racks. And so I'm going to be able to put a lot of my shoes up there
that are boxed.
Yeah, I put them in these. Again, another earlier video of mine when I was moving before, when I was still in Oregon, I got a bunch of these size boxes because they can actually hold, usually they can hold anywhere from 2 to 3, even 4 pairs of shoes, depending on the size of them. And then I have a whole bunch of these that are all the same size. And then I put on the outside, I put these stickers that say what they are. So like a box might have anywhere from 3 to 4 stickers on it. And then they all stack up really nicely. Well, I just need to, now I can put a bunch of those up on those overhead racks. I should be able to stack them up and be able to access them from all sides. And that'll free up like a bunch of space.
Yeah, we just had, we have so much stuff that we were literally at capacity, and there were several shelves that I couldn't access. I just couldn't get to them that had nothing on them. So it was kind of not really the most effective use of space. It worked out well when we first moved in, but we've both added to our inventory quite a lot in the last year since Katie moved in. So, and I know stuff is flying off the shelves 4th quarter and everything, but so it was the time to do that for now. So we're not ready to get into the storage unit or a secondary facility. We could, but I really prefer to have all of my inventory under one roof.
As long as we don't need to. I mean, it was getting to the point this last week where the way my stuff's set up, it works okay for me. But Vicky was like having a really hard time accessing her stuff, and it just makes it super frustrating. And if you're fighting it every single day, then you need
I was getting frustrated to the point where I was ready to throw stuff every morning. So it's not cool. So now I should be able to reach everything. But anyway.
So it's like at some point we'll have to, if we continue to grow the size of our inventory. But Michael has a good question. How did you learn the best brands to look for? Always afraid of missing something at the thrift stores. I stop and look up things that seem high quality, but vintage items are so hard for me to tell. You know, honestly, a lot of it just takes time.
It's just, that's really what it is. It's time. It's hit or miss. You know, what I've seen other people suggest, and we've said this before, is try to focus on maybe one category a week. Whether you go, okay, so look up vintage t-shirts. One thing that Katie has talked about a lot is vintage t-shirts. So you could watch the videos or rewatch videos about vintage t-shirts. But, you know, go on eBay or Etsy or what have you and look up a specific category once a week and learn everything you can about that category. Let's say it's men's shoes. Look up men's shoes, men's sneakers. Look up and see. Look at solds, look at the brands that sell, look for what they sell for, look at average sale price, do a little in-depth inventory. You just really need to do some research and spend a few hours a week, every week, trying to learn your craft. It's like anything else. You need to do your research. You need to put in the time. There is no short answer. There is no easy way. There just isn't. I mean, I could spout off a dozen names to you right now for things to look for, but you're not necessarily going to retain or know why that you want to look for them.
And just brands aren't enough. Like you could say Pendleton, you could say Tommy Hilfiger, but not everything of every brand is worth picking up. And there's a lot of reasons why or why not you would want to get something. And so it just depends. But here's the thing, like for me, because I am only in one category, men's clothing, it does make it easier for me to focus on that and learn. But I wouldn't suggest that everybody do that. It's just for me, that's how it works. It works well for me. When I started, I didn't know anything about clothes. Like I didn't know anything as far as like what was good to sell. And so what I would suggest for a lot of you, if you want to get into clothes, I would say start, if you're lucky enough to have a Goodwill outlet, a bins near you. I consider that like really, I call it like cheap tuition, because when I started, the prices have gone up a little bit. When I started, it was 99 cents a pound. And so it wasn't, I could go and I could buy, I could learn through trial and error, and I could buy stuff and then, you know, kind of depend on, I would fall back on like instinct to a certain degree, but I bought a lot of crap that like wasn't worth selling. And so, and you want to get it.
And I can attest to that because she had a ton in her house in Oregon before she moved here. And she must have bagged up hundreds and hundreds of things that you had gotten at the bins to resell that had never been listed because it was crap.
Not stuff that, well, I had a bunch of women's stuff that wasn't listed. But yeah, and then there was stuff that I just pulled down that like I had taken to auction and then just like gotten rid of. But for sure, like the key to that though is that don't go crazy and source because you don't want stuff left over that's not listed. You want to get listed right away because that's part of how you learn is you get it listed, you see what sells, you see what doesn't sell, and you're going to slowly evolve. You have like let yourself take the time to do that and like be patient, but also be learning by watching videos.
And even also, if it means you buy a few new things a week but buy them cheap.
But you can look at like what she was saying, you know, pick a category. So like even with men's clothing, you can go and you can go on, you know, you can go on to onto eBay and you can type in Pendleton and look at men's shirts and look at solds and sort by high to low, or like Pendleton jackets or Tommy Hill, all those like names that maybe you've heard of before. Actually go and look at the solds and sort highest to lowest, and you're going to see like, oh, Pendleton, it's like all of the Big Lebowski, you know, those Southwestern cardigan sweaters, all of the Southwestern jackets. You're going to start to see like what are the specific type, you know, board shirts, what type of Tommy Hilfiger jackets or shirts sell or don't sell. And you'll start to see like thematically and like what it is that's different about the ones that sell for a lot and the ones that sell for nothing.
And fashion changes like anything else, the current fashion, even vintage fashion, vintage things that are popular right now and you know were not popular 5 years ago. So I know it's a long answer, but really it's just research. Michael's like, got it. Research. It's pretty much it. Sorry, that's the long-winded answer. And watching people on YouTube, and I don't mean just us, but there are lots of people that will teach you what to look for and why to look for it. You know, just watching haul videos is interesting and fun, and we all like them. I think I love to watch them too, but I don't think that is necessarily going to give you the education that you need. You want to watch people on YouTube or you know in Facebook groups that explain the reasons why. Why are you buying this? How much did you pay for it? How much is it going to sell for? That's the good stuff.
But I will say, don't assume that just because somebody is on social media and they're, you know, teaching people that they necessarily know what they're talking about. So I would say you really want to look for, you know, whoever it is that you like. Hopefully they're transparent and they will let you look at their store. Like you can look, both of our stores are linked in the description of this video, and every video that we put up has our stores. So we can say whatever we want. We can show you our hauls. We can show you our solds. But at the end of the day, you can go straight to our stores and you can look and see what we sold in the last week, what we sold today, what we sold yesterday. You know, and there's sites for stuff where we take best offers. You can go to like Flipper Tools and you can look and see what we actually sold it for. Because you want to make sure that you are getting information from people who hopefully have some idea of what they're talking about.
Like inside, you know, you can see on social media, people like to brag, and that's great. We do too. Everybody does. Do you want to brag?
We like to put pictures of piles of packages going out.
Yes.
Come on, guys.
And when you have good sales,
they look awesome.
Everybody wants to say you have good sales. So one of the things that's really good is finding somebody that is, like Katie said, is fairly transparent. Of course, nobody owes you anything. You don't have to know everybody's niche and what they pay and where they get their stuff. I mean, a lot of people are willing to share and some people are not, and that's okay. But if you're saying you sell $10,000 a month, the realistic question to ask is, okay, if you're selling $10,000 a month, what are you actually netting? What did you pay for that inventory? Because if you paid $9,000 for that inventory and you're selling $10,000, then you're not really doing so hot, are you? Yeah. So that's part of it.
And I think that's also important because
hit Flippin' Mama likes potatoes.
I think it's really easy too when you follow people on social media. I know for me, like I usually get super inspired and I'm excited, but I also understand that some people can get really frustrated and discouraged because if you are watching somebody showing you like, look at all of this I sold, look at how much money I made, and you're struggling and you're having a hard time, that can be really frustrating. And so you want to be careful when you're comparing yourselves to other people, because for one thing, like she was just saying, you don't, if you don't know, okay, yeah, they just sent out 132 packages on Monday after the weekend, and that's really exciting. But if you don't know, okay, well, how many people are doing that? Is it just one person? Do they have 5 employees? How much are they paying for their inventory? Like she said, so what are their costs of goods? How much are they spending? Like, do they have do they have a warehouse? Do they have, you know, so.
And again, it's not like everybody owes you that information. Don't get me wrong, but you know, be careful what you're comparing to, because it's, you know, it's hard to say. Plenty of people do better than I do. Plenty of people do better than Katie does. Plenty of people do better than we both do combined.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Everybody's going to have whatever their journey is. If you have 3 little kids at home and you're homeschooling, or if you have children with special needs, or if you have health issues or medical issues and you're limited in time and scope and ability, then, you know, or if you have a full-time job, then you can't compare yourself to somebody that doesn't have 3 kids at home. And because I'll tell you right now, if I had 3 little kids at home, I would not be doing the numbers I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
I worry about me and just me.
Well,
and
you know,
that's different.
What I think is really interesting is every time I see somebody post a thing where they show, here's all the packages I had go out for this weekend, or here's all the packages I have going out. The number one question people ask is, what do you sell? What do you sell? They want to know. They're like, oh my God, that's so amazing. What do you sell? And I'm telling you, your first question should be, how much did it cost you? Like, if you're telling me that you just sent out $10,000 worth of stuff, how much did it cost? Or what were your COGS? I think that, you know, obviously we all kind of have an understanding of what shipping costs. So really the question that we don't know the answer to is, what were your costs of goods?
And do you have repeatables and things like that? All of these things.
If you're trying to learn, because you know, nobody owes you anything, but it's like, if you're going to share that kind of information, it's like, okay, well, give me the rest of it, because without it, there's no.
Kelly is right.
No,
don't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10.
Well, and that too, it's like, you know, it's somebody with, you know, employees, somebody with, you know, years of experience. There's a lot of things that go into it. And don't let that frustrate you, because we all started somewhere. We all started with barely anything, and built that up. And it just takes time. You just need to be patient, and you just need to learn. And
there's no real apple to apple scenario, as Dorothy says. Is right. Yeah, somebody asked a little further up, how often do you do inventory? I have to be bad and tell you, I never do inventory. I don't. I need to for sure. I'm sure I have some stuff that probably fell off, and it happens. There's the reason. Yeah. And it does happen. And I know I have stuff that has fallen off. The reality is that it's nearly impossible to do inventory when you have 2,500 items and I don't have an inventory system. I know where everything is. It takes me less than a minute to find anything that I sell, because I sell it, I list it, I put it away. I know where everything is. But that being said, it's nearly impossible if I were to print out my 2,500 items to go and try and do a checklist and figure out where the things are, to check it off to see if it's all there. Dana and I tried it once about 1.5 years ago, and we were like, this is going to take 72 years. This is not happening. Forget it. Yeah. When I think I'm going to try sometime like in the spring, because I do feel like I probably have some old stuff that like at some point fell off. And it does. That I could get rid of completely, because it's probably like old garbage that like I shouldn't be selling anyway. So I'm probably going to like look into doing that like in the springtime. Obviously, I'm not going to try to take that on now. Yeah. And Laura is similar, you know, and Teresa and certain people and Dorothy, certain people that use inventory numbering system where they number bins and things like that. That is a fantastic way to do your inventory and to keep your inventory, because it's very easy to do in that way. That's just not how I'm set up. I'm sure I could try starting over, but at this point I'm just too set in my ways. But I don't encourage people to do what I do. Here's the thing, guys. This is a perfect example of how, like, yeah, we're doing the show and we do feel like I feel like we have enough experience that we can help to educate other people and help other people, but there's still areas where we suck. And there's areas where my photos are not great. Yeah. And my inventory system is non-existent. So yes. But we each run our own business, and when it comes to inventory stuff, we're terrible. Now we know where everything is. Like we have it. I think we have a well organized. We have our own systems. We have our own systems, but don't mirror my system. We definitely have a lot of room for improvement, and that's something that we need to look into. If you're new and you're learning how to do inventory and you're learning how to set up your inventory space, I would definitely take a look at Teresa's inventory system. It is fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, she's adapted it from a few other people that have talked about it in the past. There are a lot of people that do things in a similar way. Her video about her inventory system is explained very, very well.
I think Dorothy does a similar
Dorothy does a similar one. Laura does as well. And I think that's great. Yeah, mine is separated by like items as well, Kelly. You know, I have men's dress shirts in one bin, men's Hawaiian shirts in one bin, men's short sleeve shirts in one bin, but I have 20-gallon, what are they, 50-gallon totes? So I
look at Derek. He said, yeah, what's all the stuff in my house? That's all Christmas stuff. Hey. He says, I like shave ice. Why is he talking about shave ice? Are you trying to say that? Are you trying to say that we have to pay? We have to pay rent with shaved ice.
Sorry, I mean we do have some good Hawaiian shave, and I don't understand it's shaved ice.
Whatever. Here's my thing about shaved ice. Nowhere in Oregon can you get shaved. Now, when I think of shaved ice,
it's a Hawaiian thing.
Well, I know, but like nobody else knows how to shave some friggin' ice and put some like syrup on it.
I don't know.
So in Oregon, all like the little like
they're called snow cones everywhere else.
Yeah, they'll call them snow cones. And the snow cones, it's like chunkier ice. And the problem with it is that you pour the syrup on it, it just goes right to the bottom, and then you just have like gross hard ice. It just doesn't taste good. But the shaved ice is the kind where it's actually shaved and it like melts in your mouth and it's delicious. Now it's always like in Oregon, if somebody would just set up like a little cart and do actual shaved ice, like they would make some crazy money. Because I love me some shaved ice.
Snow cones are not shave ice. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, but that's what they consider it.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, man.
Apparently, we need to buy him a snow cone shave ice.
Buy him a freaking snow cone to be done with it. That's what
I don't understand the poor grammatical shave ice. Shaved. Why is there no D? Why do they call it shave ice?
Why can't you just settle
it's
down?
Grammatically incorrect.
Settle down. You are being.
That's why I don't like it.
You are being inappropriately rude to our friend who just gave up space in his garage for free, and now all he wants is some stinking shave ice. Hickory Springs, what is up? $10 super chat. She says, for your honesty, transparency, sincerity, and most of all, for being you.
Aww.
I love learning from you, and I love your super chat dance. Well, I'm going to do something a little different for you, Hickory Springs. I'm going to sing, I just died in your arms tonight. It must have been something you super chatted. You like that? I just made Vicky snort. I think that's pretty good. You like that one? Is that your new favorite?
No,
that was for Hickory Springs. Sorry, it didn't come with the super chat dance, but I thought you needed something extra.
Ronnie says, now that you guys live in the desert, do you have any favorite thrift stores between Portland and Seattle? Well, we've only done the drive once, actually.
Between Portland and Seattle? I never did
that. That's up to you. Do you?
I lived in Oregon, and I lived in Portland for over 10 years. But when I was the last couple of years, when I first started doing eBay, I was living like closer to Salem. And I actually found I much preferred sourcing in the Salem area with the bins there. I just felt like there was a lot less competition as far as the kind of stuff that I personally like to buy, like all the men's streetwear type stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I found amazing stuff at like all the Goodwills there. There's like a couple of really cool smaller thrift stores. I love the Salvation Army there. But I didn't do a lot of like Portland thrifting and stuff like that. So I don't know.
Allison asked, Heather Gray or Heathered Gray? Grammatically correct would be Heathered Gray, but when you're doing a listing or a description, everybody would put Heather Gray.
Who cares? Who cares?
I care. Somebody has to make sure people use proper grammar because it is falling by the wayside. It's like cursive.
But not everything is about grammar. And here's the thing too. It's like, first of all, get over it. And I'll be the first to say, like, generally, I'm pretty good with grammar. Some of the stuff, like these ones, is not grammatically incorrect. It is frowned upon, but not grammatically incorrect. So you just settle down. I'm going to say these ones till the cows come home, guys. Also, language is constantly changing. Words, when they are used a certain way, shift and change from culture to culture, and you have to accept that. Sometimes you gotta be angry about it. Like there's words like irregardless, which I cannot stand irregardless, but the reality is that now irregardless is technically a word.
That's because so many people,
right? Because that's how language works.
That's because so many people were using it incorrectly because we have a world full of idiots that they actually made it a real word.
But there's probably lots of words that we say now that like 100 years ago, people would like, if they heard us, they'd be like, oh, what idiots! Those stupid idiots! Oh!
And sometimes we should just not be stupid. Exactly. Confession. Does Vicky make fun of my messages to her?
All
No.
the time, Dorothy. No, never.
I don't. Honestly, here's
Never,
the thing.
never, never.
I love my friends and I love my family, and I will never make fun of you. I make fun of Katie to her face, but I will never make fun of my friends for being incorrect with their grammar or spelling. I don't do that. I do it in my head, maybe, but I don't do it. I don't do it in type, and I don't do it to other people.
It's annoying. It makes you just look like a big jerk. Not you specifically, third person you. It's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I really like, I don't know. It's just a pet peeve of mine, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I am all about the Oxford comma.
I like the Oxford comma.
love the Oxford comma. Seriously, I do. And I will say that's like one of my things is the proper use of a semicolon, which I think most, I would say more often than not, people do not know when to appropriately use a semicolon. But that's just me. So we all have our thing. Just like I have a thing about using the word utilize instead of the word use, because people like to use.
Exactly. Lord,
people like to utilize the word utilize because they want to sound smart. Are you pinching me to make me shut up?
Yes. Supposedly.
Oh yeah.
Don't even let him get me going.
I know, yep.
Lorna says I'm the worst and she loves me. It's true.
It's true.
It's true. Crystal says my 11-year-old corrects everyone all the time. Good for him.
No.
Good for you for teaching him properly, and good for him for knowing.
Maybe pull back on the correcting people all the time.
Whatever. I think it would be cute.
Yeah.
And yeah, the word ain't. Please don't use the word ain't in my presence. I may eye roll. I could care less. That's another one. I am with you. All of these things drive me crazy.
Yeah.
And it's funny because enough of my friends know this about me that they tag me on Facebook with the memes that have to do with grammar and spelling and the you and your and two and two and two and all that stuff. So I get it. And they know that about me. It is what it is.
Overall though, it's like it's I have my whole things about it too, but it's like, why waste a bunch of time being, I don't know, jerky to people about it?
I'm not jerky.
No, you don't. I'm not. Well, you are to me.
Dorothy says, ain't gonna stop me. I'm gonna make it a point.
Yeah, and the truth is, like, there's a lot of people who are terrible spellers, and spelling really is not any kind of indication of intelligence. It's just one of those things. Different people's brains work differently, and some people.
I'm not the best at spelling. I have to be honest. I'm not the best at spelling. I definitely rely on spell check for certain things, but I am very particular about grammar.
Yeah.
Not as particular about punctuation, like when it's Facebook or like texting or messages and stuff. I'm real bad about capitalizing things. I like everything's all lowercase. I'm like E. Cummings. I'm like everything's lowercase. Whatever. I don't care about that as much.
It's just the way it is. But like when
we're putting DJ to sleep apparently. Sorry, DJ. Let's see. Somebody else had asked a couple of times, so I want to go and see. There was a question about us doing our own international shipping and using if we use the new payment system. Neither one of us are in the new payment system.
No, but Teresa's going to be on Wednesday's Boss Up and List show. And so we're just going to be talking about like a bunch of different topics, like around, mostly obviously around like eBay and stuff like that. But we should be talking about a little bit, at least, about the payments management, the whole new payment program that's in beta right now, because she is in the program. And she also is like part of running, I think she runs like a little Facebook group that's just people who are in the beta program. So she's got some really good kind of insider perspective of how it's been going, what some of the problems have been, or what, how well it's kind of going right now. I've heard some people saying they're getting a lot more sales. Some people have, there's been different struggles around. I know that there's some issues around like categories and stuff like that. But that's what the beta is all about. They're taking one for the team so that hopefully when it's time
they work out the kinks.
Yeah, they work out all the kinks so that when it's our turn. I know eBay's been doing some really cool stuff where they like, people who are in the payments program, like they're sending out coupons to the buyers. So like when they go to buy something, it'll all of a sudden pop up. There'll be like a $5 off coupons and cool stuff like that, just to kind of ease the way for people who are kind of, dealing with, okay, now I got to enter in my credit card information instead of just putting in PayPal. But they've got like the whole Apple Pay, which I'm kind of jealous of.
We'll get into it more.
We'll get into it later.
Ocean has a question he's asked a couple times.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, I asked if you always sold was used, and we answered he sees new activewear at Ross. Many are already on eBay. Is your used clothes or are your used clothes selling much better because they're one of a kind? Partly, I think. Katie does a lot of stuff from Ross. Everything at Ross is new. It's a department store, but it's a discount department store. So it usually has previous seasons collections or clothing, whether it's shoes and women's clothing is mostly cheap off-brand stuff. But they do have activewear and, the Nike and Adidas stuff and sneakers and things like that. So they're going to be cheaper. The thing is that just because it's cheaper and new, it may be out of fashion. It may not be at the Nike store anymore, but people still like the stuff. So you can still make good money on that stuff. A lot of people do. And yes, you're going to find it on eBay because there are a bazillion resellers that all they do is shop stores like Ross and TJ Maxx, and they buy and as far as the Silverton thing, it's tomorrow. It's the great garage sale. I go every year, twice a year when they have it. This is the first time I'm not going, actually.
Yeah.
I just have too much stuff to do, honestly.
Well, we just pulled all that stuff out of the garage, but we haven't moved anything yet, and so it's kind of like a big cluster out there at the moment. Like I was up here trying to do my shipping, and I could hear her yelling and throwing stuff, and she was like, "Everything's now it's gonna be another day. We're not gonna be able to get anything done."
Yeah.
So we need to do that, but I don't know. But as far as sourcing new versus used, I mean, most of my stuff is used, so that's mostly what I sell. But I mean, it's just different. It's I haven't gone in a while. I haven't done any retail arbitrage in a little while, so I'll probably do some more of that coming up in the next month or so. But yeah, it's not the one of the kind stuff, but sometimes I can get a lot of shoes. They're bigger sizes, and I do really well with those. Or it's just stuff that's not, might be available locally, but especially because I do international shipping, a lot of stuff I'm able to put up, and it sells really well overseas. I don't know. They both have their pros and cons. I like doing both.
Somebody asked about the photography as far as photographing black items, daylight bulbs and the clamp lights. I had recommended that when I was talking to Crystal, just because of expense. It's a very inexpensive way to get some good photos without a big elaborate photo setup. And then they said, what about ring lights? We don't have ring lights, so I really can't speak to how well they work. But I do know that both Ryan and Riley Roots use ring lights, and so does Casey, Rockstar Flipper. So, and anybody else that may use ring lights, please chime in. They're on our list of things that we're looking to upgrade to, but we don't use them yet.
As far as being able to photograph black fabric, it really has to do with you want to have either a camera where you can control the settings, or whatever app you're using in your phone. If you're using a phone, you need to go to the pro settings on it. So I use the camera app on my phone, and I don't use the auto setting. I go to pro because then I can adjust the brightness, because if you're photographing something white, you have to really up the brightness, or it comes out really dark. And then when you go to photograph, let's say a black t-shirt, all of a sudden it's super washed out. And so you have to darken it. And so when I take my pictures, that's how, if you look at any of my pictures, the blacks usually look really good, because I have to lower the brightness quite a bit when I take the picture. And that really, actually, black is much easier.
And never use a flash. Never use a flash.
No, yeah, never use a flash. But it really has to do with, you need to be able to be controlling. If you want to have really good pictures, you aren't going to be able to do it in auto setting. I mean, most likely you're not going to be able to do it in an auto setting. I mean, you could prove me wrong, but probably not. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to have a ring light. Maybe someday. We
need to upgrade. We need a small ring light, actually, for our videos, a tabletop one, and we need some for photos. So,
yeah, for sure. But yeah, we'll get more into talking about the managed payments thing on Wednesday.
Oh, so Dorothy says Lorna asked about how things were going since the 14-day wait for promotions has been lifted. It just started on Tuesday.
It's so hard to say.
It can't tell if it's made a difference or not yet.
I mean, I will say that I
haven't listed a whole heck of a lot in the last 14 days, so it really doesn't affect.
I did adjust my prices a little bit, so I could do a little bit of a higher, because before it's I could only really manage a 10% discount on my sales. And so I did adjust my stuff. I do feel, I mean, it's hard to say because we're also going into the fourth quarter. So that's
my sales, I have had the best 7 days that I've had since last December, this past week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm at
Might
about
be really good.
$3,000 in sales between eBay and Etsy in the last 7 days, and that's ridiculous for me. That's really good.
Yeah.
So
Seriously. Rosie's Closet. Crystal's asking a very important question. I think she asked earlier. And
Yeah,
we
no,
skipped
we
over
have
it. Dirt
not.
dogs. No, but it's funny because I was just talking about dirt dogs to Derek yesterday. We were together and we were both saying how we wanted to check it out sometime. It's the one. It's like the hot dogs that they have like fries and cheese and all kinds of crazy stuff on. They also, I think, have the elote, the corn that's like the Mexican style street corn that's got like a whole, but they have them like a whole bunch of different flavors and stuff you can put on the corn and everything. So I do think we need to check it out sometime. I'd be into that. Yeah.
Slot Kitty said, your channel was in my recommendations. Not sure what it's about, but I like No Pants Friday. Well, thanks for joining us. We are eBay and Etsy resellers, and that's what we talk about. So
while not wearing pants.
On Friday, no pants.
Well, no pants every day for me, but we answer any and all questions. Doesn't even have to be reseller related. So whatever questions you have, we will answer them. This is like
so both Teresa and Dana say that their sweet spot is 10% sales in their store with priority listings. For me, 10% does nothing. I may as well not have a sale at all when I have a 10%. So I hover between 20% and 35%, depending on the category. Sometimes it's the whole store. Sometimes it's, you know, and little various points in between, sometimes 22%, sometimes 26. And I'm not using trending rates. I did do trending rates for a little bit, but I didn't see a big enough difference there for promoted listings, not priority listings, promoted listings. Sorry. And, but I do anywhere from 5 to 7% across the board for promoted listings. So,
by the way, who else is loving in Seller Hub, when you look at your orders page, have you guys noticed the little thing where it tells you if something was sold?
Mine's not there yet.
You know, when I first saw somebody say something about it, I was like, I went and looked and mine wasn't there yet. It is today. It says in green. This morning. So when you look
unless I didn't sell anything.
Yeah. So when you look up, but you should be able to go back and look at all your paid and already paid and shipped orders and go back and it'll say in green underneath, like this was a promoted listing sale. So it's kind of cool because you can go through and see like individually, like as they sell, you'll know.
Nice.
So it's
that makes me happy. What the next step would be if they were able to let us know before we accept a best offer.
If it's a promoted
listing. There's a way for us to know, because that's going to I mean that does affect. At this point, it doesn't, but it is what it is. So
yeah, I don't know. Hey, it's Leoman. Leoman's got a $5 super chat. Here's a super chat. Here's a super chat. Woo, woo, woo. Here's a super chat. Here's a super chat. Woo, 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 woo. Here's a super chat. Here's your super chat. Woo, 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 woo. That one didn't make you snort, so it wasn't as good, apparently.
She's on something today. I don't even know what.
Is it any different than any other time?
I don't know. Ugh. Yeah, I'm not doing trending on my promoted listings because I have so much clothing that the trending rates in clothing is up to 15% in some cases, and that's a little excessive.
Yeah.
So instead of going in and going a little bit at a time, it's a little tough. So
yeah, Aaron says they should tell us the keywords used in the promo. You know, one of the things I really, and this is something, I think they used to have more information about like our traffic and where people were coming from, where buyers were coming from. I would love for them to come back with that, because like on Etsy, you can look and see, you can see like how much
your keywords and things.
Yeah, and like what was, the keywords that brought them, and what, you know, if they came from Google, if they came from, you know, searching directly on Etsy, if they came from social media. Now they don't break it out, I don't think, to which social media platforms, but I would love it if eBay would tell us, because I want to know, like,
well, the information's there. They used to have it. There used to be traffic reports where it would break it down for you more. They just need to be able to bring it back.
Yeah.
So Teresa, would you get on that?
Right. Because it's like, to me, it's like that's important. It's like, I want to know if I'm promoting, you know, like for instance, I know Dana does a lot on Facebook and on Instagram with showing her listings. And so it would be great to be able to know that like they found your store through a link on Instagram or through a link on Facebook or Twitter, so that, you know, like, well, I've been doing Twitter all year and no sales came from Twitter. So I'm just going to stop wasting my time there. And I'm going to focus more on Instagram, because that seems to get, you know, maybe they're all coming from my link tree on Instagram. It's like, you need to know that kind of stuff, and then keywords too. So
Yeah, I agree with that. I do check my promoted listings, maybe not daily, but I hover around $200 a month in promoted listing fees. And because it doesn't really break it down specifically until you go and look at your bill of 48 pages long, I probably don't pay enough attention to it. But yeah.
Yeah. Karen Reyes, $5 super chat. What? Super chat. Super chat. She super chat day. Yo. Whoa, 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 whoa. Splack. 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 There you go. You like that?
Oh my God, no.
Somebody asked something. What about?
Wait, I want to ask. Allison said, if you use promoted listings in your item sells, of course it is sold using promoted listing. How could it not be? That's not true, actually,
No.
Allison, because every single thing in my store, with the exception of maybe 5 things, has been on promoted listings for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
I've been in promoted listings since the beta testing, and it's been well over 2 years, and not everything is sold via promoted listing.
No.
Not even close.
Pretty much
30 to 40% of my listings.
When you have promoted listings, every listing you're going to have in the search results, there's going to be 2. It's going to show up twice in the search results, the promoted one and then your regular one. It just depends on what they click on. If they click on the one that's not the promoted listing and then they go buy it, you aren't paying for the promoted listing. It's only when they click on the other one, the one that actually says promoted listing, and buy it, because otherwise, you would just have 100% of them would just be,
exactly. Let's see. Frenchie, Real Stitch. Does YouTube really take a percentage of super chat? Yes, 30%.
Yeah, they do.
They take 30%. So Grammy Margaret says, do you pin your vintage items on Pinterest as you list, Victoria? No, I actually don't. I probably go in and use social media in that way 2 to 3 times a week only. I definitely should be using it more. It's just another one of those things I need to fit into my repertoire. When I focus on it, I try to get it done. And I only pin about, I belong to a social media group that is specifically social media related, that it's a very small group that Lorna leads. There's 50 of us, and the whole entire purpose of that group is for us to share each other's items. So I am not nearly as active in it as I should be. But when I do that, I usually share 2 to 5 of my items a couple of days a week, and then I share about 10 to 15 other items each day when I do that, of other people's. And by doing that, it's almost always using Pinterest. So no, I definitely do not pin all of my things. I'd be doing, 100 plus a week.
Allison Big Drift Thrift. If you do promote listings at all, or if you don't, you can look at one of our listings. Just do search the entire title. And so then only that listing is going to come up. And if it's promoted, you'll see there's one that says promoted, and then there's the regular one. So you'll see that there's 2 of them. So basically you're just doubling your exposure. And, but anyway,
Brooke South says you can view your promoted listing fees in promoted listings. Click sold. You can view a drop down of the items sold and the fees during that period. See, I can view the number of items sold and the amount of promoted listing fees, but I cannot view what the specific items were. So I would prefer to see that.
So somebody earlier, I didn't see who it was asking again how you see that on your. So if you just if you're in Seller Hub, click on the orders tab, and that'll show you. If you have any orders to go out, that'll make it the easiest. Or you can just look at all orders, so it shows everything, even stuff that's been paid for and shipped and everything. And on that page, it should show in green underneath. It'll show that it was sold through promoted listings. So.
DJ asked, if an international buyer selects international priority, do you have to use flat rate envelopes or boxes, or can you use regular poly bags? You can use anything you want, just like domestic. As far as shipping items, you don't need to use priority anything. Your label says priority. Priority is based on the weight, and the destination.
You never have to use priority boxes or bags, but if you use priority boxes or bags, you have to pay priority. If that makes sense.
And you have to pay what it says. Like, you can't use a flat rate priority box and send it for cheaper because it weighs cheaper. Then you'd want to just pick a priority box that doesn't say flat rate.
Yeah, absolutely. And DJ said, I received an eBay email saying that you can use the markdown right away. You don't need to wait 14 days. Yeah. So we talked about that a little bit earlier, but yeah, they did.
We talked about it a little bit on Wednesday.
They did reverse that this last week. And so you can now put anything on sale at any time. There's no waiting period anymore.
They listened.
They listened. Now they did say in their thing, they said that we will look in the future. We will look to see if there was some language in there that left it open,
left it open to changing it back.
So, well, I don't know if they're going to change it back, but I'm just saying, like, I did notice, like, you know, they didn't say this will never happen again, but they have changed that back. So.
Okay, so flipping south, that does not show that for me. So I've got to be honest with you. My Seller Hub does not show item, picture, title, sold for price, and fees charged per item on my promoted listings page at all. Believe me, I look into this all the time because I know what my numbers are, and I'm very conscious about what I have there. Like I said, I've been doing it for 2.5 years.
Can you customize that at all, though?
I can't. But you know how some people have, and you've seen this on mine, some people have the date that you have to ship something by, even in your orders.
That's because it's the newer.
I don't have that either.
So I said this to somebody at eBay recently, and they said, "Oh, for some reason yours reverted back to the old Seller Hub." It is so if you call in, they can put you. I don't know what happened, but they fixed it for me, and now it's back to where it does tell me the ship by date. Because
again, I was in the beta for Seller Hub too, so I have the first version of Seller Hub that came out. And it's never changed. So I don't know.
But the real stitch, Frenchie just slapped down a $10 super chat, slapped it down. Now she's saying no YouTube to super sales. I don't know if she's like lamenting the super chat tax or what, but I will say it looks like she does love us.
I think so.
Look at this stuff. Isn't it neat? Wouldn't you say my collection's complete? Because I have all these super chats from Frenchie.
That was your Little Mermaid version?
Yeah.
That was impressive.
Do you like it?
I liked that one. I liked that
Thanks, Frenchie. I appreciate it. You're awesome. We love you. We love you rapping in your car.
I know. Victoria Smith asked if it's on laptop or mobile. For me, it's laptop.
Yeah.
I'm almost always using the desktop version. So
yeah. Yeah, Teresa says 14-day sales, don't list for $200 and offer a 60% discount on day one and you'll be okay.
Right.
Those are the folks eBay was trying to fix. Yeah, I mean, I also think that there's a difference between used items and new stuff.
Where you set the price on used items.
Because like a vintage Tommy Hilfiger jacket, like who decides what the MSRP is? Like there's no... that just doesn't exist. It has to do with the market of what people will pay for or not pay for, which is true for anything.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, there's certain things that the market kind of sets, like what a gallon of milk sells for. And so if a grocery store just opened up and said, we're now charging $19.99 for a gallon of milk, but you can get it for $2, like that would be kind of bizarre. But it's a little bit different when you're talking about vintage, one-of-a-kind items. You know, I can sell a Tommy jacket for $150 while somebody else sells it for $40. So am I overpricing it, or, you know, it's, I don't know.
Dorothy said she has a pirate ship question. Using a poly bag, they asked the size of the bag. What if you end up folding the bag in half just to make it smaller? Do you use the original size?
No, you don't use the original size. So if you
use the fold where the fold is.
Yeah. So if you're doing, let's see, do I have a bag here nearby? I'm trying not to stand up because I don't got no pants on, guys. Anyway, so when you're doing a soft pack, this is for cubic shipping. So if whether you're using Fit Shipper or using Pirate Ship, if you choose the soft pack way of sending, they only want to know the length times the width, right? Because it's not a box, it's a flat thing. And then, but
so the idea, you fold it down by like 4 inches.
But the idea is that like this. So this is a 12.5 by, I think it's 12.5 by 10 inches. Is this bag?
I think it's 13 by 10.
Anyway, so we'll say 13 by 10. And that's just if you fold it on the actual spot, right? And the idea is that 13 by 10 is going to give you the proper volume, because if you fill this up with a shirt or whatever it is, no matter how much bigger it goes this way, the volume will remain the same, right? And that's if you fold it over. But if you're actually going to be folding it in half, you want to give them this measurement from here to here, where you're going to actually fold it, because that's going to be the actual volume of what you're selling. So you want to make sure that you're putting in the correct length times width, because that's going to determine what tier it's going to be for cubic priority, to make sure that you're getting the lowest price possible to show.
Yeah, Allison, I don't know. Maybe I'm a senior eBay Seller Hub person too, because there's a lot of features that Seller Hub is supposed to have that I don't have, and I don't know if it's just because mine's never been upgraded, or I don't know how to change that. It works fine for me. Crystal, I've not heard of the brand Memory. I'm sorry.
No. Teresa's going, she's crying about she's working on a cubic chart right now because I won't do it for her. I will work on it with you. There's just a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff to do. You're so demanding. Sorry, some people need normal hours of sleep. Unlike you, where I can be talking to you at midnight, I go to bed, I wake up, and I see you sent me a message at like 2:30 a.m. and then at like 6 o'clock in the morning, it says you're active. Like, what's going on, Teresa? It's weird.
She sleeps like 4 hours a night. I've heard that's what happens when you get old. You need less sleep.
It just seems to me like she has a lot of energy. She says, whatevers. Couponing, Seg Parsons says, do you put best offer in everything you list? I do. I price everything to have a little bit of room for some negotiating, because I do think that some buyers, there's a lot of buyers out there who they just want to hit buy it now. They want to lock it down, and they want you to ship it out to them. But there's still other buyers who are like, well, what about maybe you'll take this much money for it? And those are the ones that I want to sell to as well. And sometimes I'll have something, like I had something priced the other day for what was it? I think I had a price for 40. It was on sale, $41.99, and they were like, will you take $38? And I said, yeah, I'll take $38. Thank you. And they got to feel like they got a little deal, and I felt like I got a good sale.
That was a fair offer. Yeah,
for sure.
I definitely have best offer on 99.5% of my items. Same thing. It doesn't mean and I haven't always. I went through phases where I never had best offer. I actually just switched to having it maybe a little over a year ago. I went for many years without it. So yeah, I like having best offer there, and certainly not everybody is going to negotiate properly, and then sometimes they do.
And here's the thing. So there was the eBay for Business live show on Wednesday. Somebody was talking about best offers and stuff, and I had commented in there that I have a theory that when somebody makes a best offer, that it pushes your item up in the search, because I've had so many times where somebody has done, like, let's say a low ball offer, or they didn't offer and then I countered, and then like 5 minutes later somebody else swoops in and buys it at full price. And so that's like kind of my theory. So I said something about that, and somebody at eBay for Business replied to my comment, I think this morning, and they said they weren't sure about that part of it, but they said definitely the increased click-through rate contributes to the higher search. So I'm on a mission to find somebody who has the definitive answer about that, but it definitely makes sense. So let's say somebody sees items in a search results on the page, and there's all of these different things. And let's say there's somebody who likes the best offer thing. They want to be able to make a best offer. So they're going to see your listing, they're going to click on it, and that gives you a little added click through, because they didn't just look at you, because there's impressions where they just see it on the results page, but then when they actually click on it and go and look at your page itself, that gives you a boost in your search. Now, whether or not when they actually do the best offer, does that also give you a boost in the search? I still think it does, but that could just be me. But that added click, anything that will contribute to people clicking on your listing and looking at the page itself, is going to push you up in the search. So you want to draw them in. So
Michael asks, any must-read or watch content for new resellers? Been doing it about a month now. I've typically 50 items in my store, working on more, and sold 29 items so far. First of all, really good sell-through rate. So you must be picking some good stuff. So good for you. That's a really good sell-through rate. I think the best thing to do is kind of what you're doing. You're watching our show, whether we're helping or not. I hope we are. But there are lots of resellers on YouTube. I think just do a little bit of searching around and try to find whoever speaks to you. Find the people that talk to you, and their information seems worthy to you and credible. And
do your research, though. Like I said earlier, do your research and see if you can, if they have a store, they tell you what their store is, so you can see if they're actually doing as well as they say they're doing, so you're getting good information. I would also say try and stay away from too much drama. You want to be following people who are coming at it from a very proactive, positive standpoint, because it's like our whole boss up philosophy is, it's don't sit around and just whine and complain about things that are going wrong. Take your problems head on and try to find solutions, and always be.
There's a lot of negativity out there, and it's real easy to fall into that negative. Poor me, woe is me. Everybody's a scammer. eBay sucks. it's
Yeah.
really easy to fall into that because you're always going to find people that want to commiserate with you. That adage, misery loves company. But what you want to find are the positive, uplifting sellers and resellers, because there are more of them than there are of the complainers. The complainers just happen to be louder.
Yeah. Well, when I very first started doing eBay, like I joined like a number of different Facebook groups, and I remember there was like, I don't even remember what the name of it was, because it's really irrelevant. But there were a couple of them that just seemed super focused on people just complaining about things that were going wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that it became like super depressing. And it makes it feel like reselling is a really scary place, because you start to think that all the buyers are trying to scam you. The post office, eBay, everybody is like out to get you.
It's just costs of doing business.
What ends up happening is you, first of all, you start to just be in like a really negative headspace, which isn't good. And secondly, you start to believe that that these problems are bigger than they really are. And because you believe because your perception of it is that like, okay, so all these buyers are out there trying to scam me, so I better come up with ways to protect myself from these scams. And so I'm going to
create crazy business policies and never ship international.
I'm not going to do any free I'm not going to accept returns. I'm going to block everybody who asks too many questions. I'm going to be super combative the second a buyer has a problem with something they bought from me. I'm going to stop selling to these countries. I'm not going to do international at all. And so you start to create like all these policies and ways of doing business that just close the doors. And that's where I'm like, remove all obstacles, like open those doors wide, bring all the sales in, because the reality is that most of those horror stories are little anecdotal stories that will happen to you occasionally, because we always have issues that come along.
That's life.
But it's a very small fraction of your overall sales. And so the more open you are to selling to everyone, the better off you're going to be. And so you just want to be in that positive headspace.
Quick question, fade or faded. Pirate Ship's global discount program, again, is called Simple Export Rate.
Yeah, Simple Export Rate. It's only for first class international, so anything up to £4. But it saves you huge
good money.
Saves you a lot of money. Otherwise, the priority international labels, they're still going to be the cheapest, I believe, if you just send them through eBay.
Yeah. Okay, so the auction professor Allison said on YouTube is excellent. I've never watched any of his stuff. I have heard the same as well. Yeah. No nonsense and a lot of knowledge. That's really good.
Yeah. To be honest, neither of us, before we kind of got more into the YouTube community, neither of us were big YouTube watchers of other resellers, if that makes sense. Like
I had only ever watched one other reseller in my entire life.
Yeah. So like, I mean, technically Paul Cantu is he sells his own stuff on his website that he finds, but like he's like a guy that I like to watch. His videos are super silly, full of horrible language, but super silly and funny. But I like watching stuff like that because he goes out and thrifts like vintage streetwear, the type of stuff that I'm into finding. So it's really fun to watch that. Or I watch Round 2, the show, because they do a lot of vintage streetwear type stuff. So I'm more focused on like those kinds of things, as opposed to because that's the stuff I want to learn about, is like brands.
But there are many great resellers. Like we really love.
I'm just saying, like, we don't necessarily have like the greatest.
Yeah. We really love Ryan and Rally Roots. They're excellent, really positive, great,
good attitude. Yeah.
Good attitude, good people in the community. Chris Lynn has been doing this for just a couple of years, but he's a little bit dry, but his process and the way that he gets from point A to point B and his processes are very interesting for some people. He's very analytical in the way that he breaks things down, and that works.
He is constantly switching things up. So he's not necessarily somebody that you want to, if you're new to the game and you're going to go watch him and be like, okay, I'm going to do exactly what this guy does and I'm going to be successful.
No, but you can take a little bit from every people.
I'm just giving,
like Frenchie says, nuggets, little bits of nuggets.
Yeah, so you take what you can take. I think, like, honestly,
Wade's Ventures is good.
Absolutely. And I think Casey Rockstar Flipper, I really appreciate how he breaks things down. I think especially if you're a new seller, when he like goes out sourcing, he'll be like, here's this item, it costs this much, but it's going to cost you this much to ship it, this much to list it, this much to do this, and then after fees and all this stuff, I'm only going to make $2, so I'm not going to get this.
Right.
So
I think I like his sourcing.
Everybody has a different thing, and here's the thing, guys. Everybody relates to different people differently. So somebody like I might think is fun to watch, you might be like, oh, this is terrible. And everybody's inspired by different things. Like, people, for whatever reason, you follow us because, I don't know, like, you like people with pink hair. Maybe that's what it is.
Yep. Or you like her,
Or you
her
relate-
ridiculous.
Yeah, or you relate to
super chat
somebody
songs.
like Thrifting Nomads. You're like, okay, here's a young couple. They've got kids. They're trying to make this happen. And so maybe you follow them because you've got kids and you're like, I don't know how I'm going to juggle all this. So I'm going to watch
Right.
these guys because they're inspiring to me, because they're starting the same journey I am around the same time. And so that's why I want to follow them. So
the one thing I will say to new sellers that are learning, and Suzanne Wells, I've never watched anything by her, but I've seen the name a million times. Kathy Terrell, we love Kathy. Kathy is very matter of fact and very kind and businesslike, and very good with her teaching as well. She shares an awful lot of information. The one thing that I will say, when you're new and starting out, there is a multitude of resellers out there, and a multitude of people talking about how to do things and what to do. Like I said, watch, listen, take what seems good to you, and take your little nuggets from each person. The one thing I would suggest against is don't buy into things. There is an awful lot of free, not right away. I'm not saying never, because there are some things that are worth, courses that are worth taking, and people's groups that are worth buying into. I'm not endorsing anybody specifically, but you don't need to do it at first. Not when you're new, and not when you're first starting out. Maybe when you start making a little bit of money, I don't think it's a bad, I don't think it's a bad thing to do, but I think that it's real easy to get sucked into, this is your get rich quick scheme, and this is how you're going to make it, is if you spend, $700 on this course, and this person is going to teach you everything you need to know to make $1 million next year. And I think that that's something that a lot of people fall into. And I think that there is a wealth of information out there for free. And I think you should definitely take advantage of what is out there for free first.
Yeah.
And then maybe when you're looking to get to the next level, there are people that you can take courses from and belong to certain groups. And they're very worth the amount of money, if they're people that you feel that you're getting information
I think
from.
whatever. I think everybody gets to pick whoever they're going to follow. If they inspire you, and that's great. If they're positive, then that's great. If you feel like they're bringing you down, then maybe look somewhere else. But everybody's going to have their own tastes. The one thing I would say is try and limit. Like, I know some of you guys probably maybe watched a little too many videos, and it's like it cuts into. Make sure that you're balancing it with your work. So if I know that,
like Michael said, he has it playing while listing. Great, that's a great thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you can do that, some people, it's like once they have a reseller video on YouTube, it's like they end up like watching the video and they stop listening because they can't.
I do that. I can't watch and listen at the same time. The only person I can do that with is Chris, if I happen to catch one of his videos, because I like Chris as a person. I like him. I think he's a good guy. I think he's his way of speaking is very monotone. That's just his nature, and I have to be doing something else to keep my attention with him. But he speaks to a lot of people, and like I said, he's very Teresa loves him because he is very analytical and breaks things down, and that's how Teresa's mind works. So different people,
whoever works for you, whoever works for you.
Yeah, everybody's different.
I don't think it really. Honestly, like, I think bottom line, it's like if you can learn something from someone, and for whatever reason they inspire you, and they motivate you, then that's okay. Like, then go for it. It's not for
Susan said one of my listings had super chat in it. That's funny.
That's
awesome.
I said that's awesome.
Nope.
I said that's awesome. You can't say that's awesome too.
Okay, so do we have any more questions in here?
Probably. I did a lot of yapping without
looking. Both did. Sorry. If you had a question that didn't get answered, why don't you throw it up there now? Yeah, throw it up there again. Hey guys, we've got like 130 viewers here. How about some thumbs up if you've been enjoying the show? We've only got 33 thumbs up. What? So you can either go Steve Braken style and smash that like button, or you can gently tickle it and tap it. There you go. So whatever you guys want to do. Raleigh Roots, what? They said their faves are Katie and Vicky. What? They're so cute. Honestly, Ryan and Allie, I really love them. They're definitely two of my favorites. And like Katie said, we didn't really watch YouTubers until we started doing this. So I just discovered them in this last year.
Yeah.
And I think that they're fantastic. First of all, they're super sweet, super genuine people. We had the pleasure of meeting them at eBay Open, and they are just as sweet and kind and generous and open as they appear. So I love that part. But they're adorable. They're adorable. They're fun to watch. They're a really cute couple, and I like it.
Yes. I may have said some weird things on YouTube about wanting to murder their faces and kiss them and whatnot. I stand by all of it. So there you go. Sorry. I'm real sorry. I'm not sorry, but I am sorry.
And we've met in person, so you know it's real love. It is real love.
It is real love. And I don't know what is going on with Allie. She is tiny, but she will hug the life right out of you.
She's so cute.
thought my bones were gonna crack.
She's a good hugger.
But I don't know, like the strength in her hugs, it's a little scary. I didn't know if I was gonna
Her hugs are genuine. I love
No,
that.
they're awesome. I'm just like, she's so tiny. I don't know where like the crazy, it's like,
you know how some people like they're awkward when they hug you, and that's okay. Not everybody's a hugger.
Yeah.
Allie goes right in. She like dives in, full on hug.
Full on bone crushing.
She's awesome. She's adorable. So, question: what made Vicky move to Vegas? We know what made Katie move. Let's see. So, I moved to Vegas. First of all, I lived in the same small town in the same small state in Rhode Island for 38 years. I moved to Vegas because I was ready for a change. Really, I used to come here and visit like 2-3 times a year. And I had actually gotten married here. My ex-husband and I got married here while we were on vacation. And I just liked it. I loved visiting here and I loved the weather and I was sick of the snow. And we were actually weighing 2 different places to move. We were weighing part of North Carolina or here. And we had come out here to visit a friend that had recently moved here. And we stayed off the strip for the very first time. We'd always, when we vacation here, you vacation in Vegas, you stay on the strip, right? So we stayed off the strip in a neighborhood and I'd never seen the mountains and the neighborhoods. And I was like, oh, it's really nice here. And then we started looking at pricing. And before we were home, back home to Rhode Island, we were like, oh yeah, we're moving. Why not? Yeah. We both worked out of the house. There was no reason not to. My daughter at the time was 19. And it was at the time where it was like, okay, she can either come with us at this time, which I wouldn't have moved if she hadn't come with me, because she wasn't ready to be on her own yet. So, you know, move with the child and start over, or move and she'll have her, you know, wait a few more years and she'll have her own life and she would never want to move across the country with her parents. So it just happened to be a good time. Like,
it's awesome here. It's such like an awesome place to live because you can go to California, you can go to LA, you can go to San Diego, and it's like, you know, 4 or 5 hour drive is not really a big drive, or you can go to Phoenix, and it's like, but the thing is the cost of living here is actually really good.
Right.
As long as you're not going to like the bars on the strip to like pay $20 for a cocktail. But the cost of living here is actually really, really good.
It's reasonable. It's cheaper than where I was living.
It's cheaper than where I was in Oregon in a small town. And so it's a really cool.
And I really love the weather, and I was fortunate enough to make friends right away. So I really liked it here. I would love to live in California. Don't get me wrong. California weather is even better than Vegas weather, but I do not want to, you know, pay 3 times the amount of what I pay now for half the size of the house. I don't want to work for my mortgage. Yeah, for sure. Just for your mortgage. You know what I mean? So
yeah, there's a lot of new construction going on here, and that's the thing with Vegas is there's tons and tons and tons of space, so there's room to grow. Like you go to somewhere like New York, and it's like there's nowhere to build new construction.
And California traffic sucks. Actually, Vegas traffic is getting right up there. I've got to be honest with you, Teresa, it's getting real bad. But still living with it.
Teresa's being, in the words of Allison, a crybaby pee-pee pants right now.
We're going to Phoenix next month.
We are in November. I already told you that. Like the weekend after Thanksgiving. Come on.
We're coming.
We already talked about this. Quit being a crybaby pee-pee pants.
We're coming.
Weird.
Let's see.
Is there anything else? Well, I mean,
DJ, we answered that question a little bit earlier, but yes, regular poly mailers can be used for international priority. International priority mail is based only on weight and destination. So you're going to want to calculate and see which is cheaper, whether it's something that's a flat rate or it doesn't matter what kind of packaging you use.
Yeah, pretty much. But basically, your cheapest route of international shipping, if it's under 4 pounds, is to go on pirate ship and do their simple export rate. It's going to be cheaper than anywhere else.
Teresa says she's scheduled to be in San Jose that week. I'm assuming that's what SJ is. So no, we haven't talked about specific dates. You were taking care of it.
No, we did talk about it. I'm pretty sure we did. I'm going to go back and I'm going to look through my notes. I'm going to look through. I got chats. I got screenshots. I got some receipts. I got screenshots. I got receipts. I'm going to show you, Teresa. I'm going to show you that we talked about it. Okay. Okay.
Casey and Alice are going to retire in Hawaii. Yeah, I would love to retire in Hawaii. I've never even been to Hawaii. I'd still love to retire in Hawaii. And yeah, Jasso, yes, we are going to have a meetup. If you are in the Facebook group, or even if you're not in the Facebook group, there is, send me a message and I will send you, you can send it through us here. I will send you the link to the meetup Facebook link for the Vegas meetup. I'm still location. Crystal gave me a couple of ideas, and I'm going to check out in the next week or two a couple locations. But we're going to do a meetup at the end of, well, sometime in November.
Yeah. All right. I think we're coming up on 2:30 here, guys. We got some work to do.
Yeah, I gotta
take some pictures and stuff.
We gotta go finish clearing out the garage.
And we gotta go do some workout in the garage. So this one over here will stop crying like a crybaby Pink Pants every day.
I need to be able to get my stuff put away.
And it's not my fault you keep sourcing more stuff. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. It was a fun No Pants Friday. I had a good time. I think you had a good time.
I did.
I hope
a good time was had by all.
Well, it looks like 62 of you guys had a good time. The rest of you, I don't really know.
Apparently,
Sunday, make sure you come and hang out with us for Sunday Live Hall at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We will have our show as usual there. And the next Wednesday, like I said, we're going to have Teresa on. She said she will take a shower so that she can be presentable on camera on Wednesday.
Thanks, Teresa. We appreciate that.
Teresa.
Thank you. It's not smell-o-vision.
But we'll see all you guys. Have an awesome weekend. Have some fun.
Go do something fun.
Some work. Bots it up, all that jazz. We are getting into the thick of Q4, so you want to keep things moving ahead.
It's been busy.
It's been real busy.
Hopefully had some sales while I was here.
Yeah, but we will talk to you guys later. All right.
See ya.
All right. Bye.
Bye.